Let's talk about what we're doing, Josh. We've got housemates Zara and Yotie out. This is the first time, really, they've been inside a home together and not having to be crated and rotated. Up until training, they only ever had one out at a time, and they're really looking forward to being able to have both dogs out of their crates, but not have it be madness, not have it be WWE in their living room, not run the risk of her just wanting to be a couch potato as she does, and her bothering her, and her correcting her. See what I mean?
Absolutely.
They wanted a way to manage all of this, so the place command, talk about it. It'll be really the best way.
It will be, and the most challenging part, I think, the thing to keep in mind is how to get them on and how to get them off from the bed without causing any issues. Because if I were to just go and give the release right now, if they both ran off and then ended up in each other's face, we could have a problem.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to release one or take one, with you without the other one. But so this is management. This is how we know that if they're in the room, they're on the place bed. So we know there's not any unwanted issues. They're not bumping into each other by accident. They're not bothering each other by accident. Also, they're not doing other things in the house that we don't want them to be doing. They're just laying on the bed. So it eliminates all of the issues that we could run into. So that's what the management is. To get this though, you want to start separately. You still want to take one out and crate and rotate for a little while so that you know that you can trust each dog individually, and you went through making sure that they're proofed at home so that they can actually be on the bed, make their mistakes without the other dog in the room until they're reliable. And when you feel like they're reliable, then you can add them together. I feel like they're reliable, so now I can add them together, but I didn't do that to begin with. I worked each one of them, as you've seen, by themselves on the place command. So they learn the boundaries, they learn the rules, they learn what not to do and what to do. Now that they're reliable, I put them together. All right, so when you go home, it's the same thing. You're gonna wanna do one at a time until you feel like they're ready. And that looks like them not making mistakes getting off the bed. With little things like you leaving the room or doors opening. You can even speed it up, by putting in your own knocks on the door, sit down on the floor, maybe put food on the floor, leave the room, anything you can get, open a door that they might want to go into, toys, anything that you can think of that might entice them to get off without actually telling them to get off. Don't tell them. I know it's funny that I say that, but I've seen it before where somebody would be like, go get the ball, and then be like, no, you don't do that. You just present something. But that'll break trust if you say, you want this? Go get it. And then you correct them for going to get it. And if anybody goes and gets it, they're in trouble. Why? Because they weren't released off the bed. So you're just providing a distraction that either makes them want to go get it or something that makes them want to go away. An example might be the vacuum cleaner. Some dogs, when you're using the vacuum cleaner, some dogs want to run up on that thing, play with it or attack it, and other dogs want to run away from that thing because it's scary. That's a good proofing mechanism. It's a good thing to do to teach your dog not to get off the bed. Same with knocks on the door. Most dogs want to leave the bed and you come up to the door. All right? Good. Or if you sit on the floor, believe it or not, just this right here is enough, and I already seen her think about it, to get a dog to get off the bed and come over to you. I'm not even looking at them. I didn't say anything to them. I just squatted on the floor. Right? Now I added food into that mixture, and I have a plate of food. So these are just ways so they learn that no matter what it is in the environment, they don't get off the bed until they're released.
Talk about how this allows you to pet each one individually without any fights over affection or you being the resource.
Well, you just said it. That's going to make that a lot easier. You do want to be able to get that off in the place bed as well. And I'll demonstrate that. It's a little bit more advanced in your relationship. It's something that you'll work towards. But as you can see, if I come over and spend time with Yotie, she's not coming over. Zara's not coming over to bother us, right? Good girl. And vice versa. If I come over to spend time with Zara, Yotie's not going to come on over here. So that makes it nice. That's really nice that you can do that. Because previously, if I were to show attention to either one, I come and get in between, which is going to cause a fight because, like you said, they see the human as a resource. If they see you as a resource, then that means they're going to guard you, which means they're going to correct the other dogs for being around you. So you don't want to be seen as a resource as it is. You want, if you see your dog treating you like a resource, that dog needs to get corrected. They don't treat the leader as a resource, right? So, all right, easy peasy. Once we get it, it's simple to understand. Dogs go off bed, dogs don't get off bed until they're told to. Simple. As long as you're on top of correcting them when they make mistakes, make sure you're proofing it before you put them together. It should be pretty airtight. It shouldn't be too difficult. Another layer of safety though, if you need it, you can put tiebacks on them, which means you can put leashes on them and have it tied to something heavy underneath the leg of a couch or something with her or a table or something that's heavy enough where they can't move it. And it shouldn't be tight and it shouldn't be keeping them on the bed. It's not for that. It's for when they step off the bed, they only get about this far. Alright, so then they can make the mistake. If they're in the same room with each other, they can make a mistake, get corrected, and get back on the bed. It's another layer of safety, if you feel like you need it.
Do you notice who's struggling more?
Yotie.
Yeah. And Yotie has shown more anxiety since day one.
Yes.
Right? And she was the one that barks nonstop in the house. You know, she's the couch potato.
Yeah.
And she was the one that they were originally going to send solo, but then they decided to send both. But she has always been the one that they thought needed it more.
Yeah. They definitely made the right choice in both.
Yes.
Because she's no walk in the park either.
Right.
But she's more anxious, for sure, which is going to lead to more obvious bad behaviors. You're going to see barking and whining, which we're not seeing.
No, but they did. They said
which is good.
Barking was non-stop with her.
Right. She's not whining either, which is nice.
Stop. Yeah.
Usually a dog who's barking a lot will end up whining before they're quiet, but I haven't heard her whine either, which is awesome. Don't want to jinx myself because I appreciate the fact that she's
Zara's
not
basically
whining.
falling asleep on the bed and Yotie's still concerned. That's the difference.
Yeah, so she's more insecure as well. She definitely overreacts more. She's younger, but she's also, her genetics are just a little bit more, I would say, nervy. She's easier to spook. I mean, that tripod just made the slightest of noises and she went like this.
Which explains her non-stop barking.
Oh, that right there would be a bark.
That is, yeah.
That little, like, you hear a little creak and then that's us all. You know, if I'm sitting in my living room and I'm watching her do like this to sounds, really hyper vigilant, correct that. You're telling her, I don't need you to be a guard dog. I don't want you to be alert like that. So
does she have a double down?
that's where we're gonna go next.
That'll
So
help.
if we start to see, this is how you use the double down, by the way. And you'll see it, you'll need it, especially with a girl like her. You start seeing that mind wander. You don't have to wait for them to make a full mistake.
Like she's fully committed. Look at her. She doesn't need it right now.
She's fine, she's already doing it.
But Yotie.
So you start to see this, you start to see all this stuff. You hear a little noise and you're seeing this. This is not good. These will be bars. So if I start seeing that, I'm just going to come in on a low number here. That's a low number.
That means you have good contact.
Yeah, so that's a 5, and if you know anything about these units, you won't feel a 5. More than likely, if you do, that's remarkable. She barely feels it. It probably feels like a fly landing on her neck. It's light.
We're just telling her, just relax.
If she needs the information, so look, she's flirting with it. Do you see? Just watch. She's giving it to me, then not doing it. What is that? What is that? Is she confused? Does she not know what I want? No. She doesn't want to commit because that's called submission. That's called giving into the authority. That's called not barking at everything and being super vigilant. That's saying this isn't your house. We don't need a guard dog. So she doesn't want to give that. You can see that. She gave it and she said, no, that's full submission. I don't want to give that. That's what that is. So that's classified to me as attitude, right? So I can tell her down. Give that click there. Lay down. And see, that's it. Good girl. You can just feel the energy shift. I just felt a layer, there was a layer of, that I didn't even recognize, of anxiety that was kind of in the air that was